Well, I was actually horrified by that um, because on one end I was horrified. On the other end, of course, I wasn't actually surprised because President Obama has, during his time in office, it's been very clear that he is very pro-Islam. He has made several speeches that indicate that. He has welcomed people into the White House from the CARE organization. He has hosted or announced Ramadan, while at the same time he has canceled Christian prayer meetings. So on one side it was not surprising because he leans towards and supports the Muslim Brotherhood and Islam in general. On the other hand, of course, it was very shocking that a president would speak out against the Constitution, actually, and against our constitutional right. At the same time, he was promoting the right of the so-called Ground Zero Mosque to build their mosque there, according to the Constitution and the First Amendment. And we felt at the same time he should also support our right to burn a copy of the Quran as a demonstration against radical Islam. So I think in general it's a very damaging and sad sign of the direction of our administration and the direction of our country. As far as we could find out, and as far as we know, this is actually very unique. That a president, as we said, whose actual job is not to necessarily exercise his opinion concerning a matter, but actually to uphold the Constitution. So as far as we were able to find out, this is the first time that an actual president would speak out against the Constitution and against a United States citizen who was simply exercising his constitutional rights. Well, I believe that, of course, one of his motivations is he is very pro-Islam. As we know, his father was Muslim. His stepfather was Muslim. Whenever he went to school in Indonesia, his registration forms on the Catholic school there, he was registered as an Indonesian citizen, and his religion being Islam. So we know from the very beginning that he leans very strong in that direction. Plus, I believe it's a direct attack against the First Amendment. I believe what this administration is trying to do is the same thing that other governments have done around the world, and that is to try to limit freedom of speech, especially in the area of Islam. Automatically, if you speak out against Islam, it is no longer freedom of speech. It is called hate speech. I believe George Orwell said, "Truth has become the new hate speech," and I believe what they're actually trying to do, they're actually trying to amend the Constitution and amend the First Amendment, and trying to add a type of hate speech amendment to that in order to slowly limit freedom of speech, especially if you speak out against Islam or if you speak out against other topics that are considered unpopular. The thing that we have to remember about the First Amendment, the First Amendment is only it is only valid, it is only effective when it allows us to speak things that are unpopular. And I believe that this is a direct attack against the First Amendment to try to get it altered to some degree. Oh, we have definitely something planned in the sense that we are not going to stop. As you may be aware of, we did later burn the Quran in our International Judge the Quran Day at the beginning of this year on April the 28th as a protest for the imprisonment of Pastor Youssef. We set a deadline that he should be released. The deadline was April the 28th. If he was not released by that time, we had called for a worldwide burning of Qurans and images of Muhammad. At that time, Pastor Youssef was not released. At that time, we performed exactly that ceremony. We burned a Quran, an image of Muhammad, and that was also done around the world. This September the 11th, we have an International Judge Muhammad Day, where we will examine his character. If he was a true prophet of God, then of course he should have aspects in his life and in his character that would make you believe that is indeed a prophet. So our response to President Obama is that we will continue. Even our response this year, when we were getting ready to do our April 28th event, we got a telephone call from the Deputy Secretary of State. We got a telephone call from General Clark. We were contacted by the World Evangelical Association. They came here right to our office and talked to us. All of these people discouraged us from burning a Quran or from speaking out against Islam. But we will continue to exercise our First Amendment rights. Not only that, we will continue to raise an awareness that Islam, especially an element of Islam, is very, very dangerous, and also to continue to speak out against Sharia, which is also in this country trying to creep in to change, alter our Constitution. Oh, I think so, very definitely. We know that several years ago our military was ordered to burn Bibles. We know that in the military manual they have laid down very strict instructions on how to handle the Quran, how to hold the Quran in a type of extreme respectful behavior. As I said, as we were going to do our April 28th event, I got a telephone call from General Clark, Deputy Secretary of State, from many other people. That is definitely a clear attempt to raise up the Quran, to respect the Quran in a way that is definitely uncalled for and definitely would not be done if we had staged a international burn the Bible day or some other type of literature in protest. Then of course the government would have never got involved. So there is absolutely no doubt that this government and our government in general favors Islam, favors the Quran, or at least, let's say, has a fear, I think mainly possibly a fear of Islam, a fear of retaliation, and we are taking actually the easy road out, or actually the road that I would say is somewhat cowardly. Instead of standing up to Islam, and instead of standing to our American citizens who are exercising their First Amendment rights, we are siding actually with Islam, and I believe in many cases then through that we are actually promoting the radical element of Islam by showing that we are actually afraid of them. Yes, definitely. That is absolutely unbelievable, actually. We have raised such a ruckus and continue to raise such a ruckus when we speak out against Islam. There is, as you know, even laws introduced into the UN wanting to make the criticism of Islam a criminal act. as we burned the Quran, there was around the world Muslim leaders calling for our death, calling for our imprisonment, expecting the United States government to do something simply because we had burned a book. But around the world, actually for the last 1,400 years, Islam has killed, according to the records that I have read, they have killed around 370 million people. We know that Christians are being killed on a daily basis. I have close contact with many Coptic Christians. I myself have been to Egypt twice. I've been to Africa twice. These type of horrendous activities are going on around the world, where people are not just burning literature or books in demonstration, but actually people are being killed. Young girls are being kidnapped and raped. People are being forced to convert to Islam. There is just simply horrendous things going on in the name of Islam, and actually those things are completely being ignored. Even something like Pastor Youssef, and this is a common occurrence, I believe, in Islam countries, he has already been in jail for over 900 days and has done absolutely nothing except converted from Islam to Christianity. So I think it is absolutely disastrous, horrible. Our administration does not do something. What we have always been calling the administration to do is to bring these issues before the UN and demand that Islam, Quran-dominated countries adapt a certain element of freedom of speech, human rights, civil rights, women's rights. I believe that these countries, if they are not willing to do that, they should not be tolerated. They should be immediately removed from the UN. They need to know and they need to feel from the governments of the world that these type of activities are simply horrifying, incorrect, and will not be tolerated.